Hi folks, Jay from Broken Arrow Archery. Today I'm just going to have a talk to you about arrow rests. We've had a few people that made inquiries about upgrading their arrow rest recently from their first one that came on their bow. Like this one, for example, is a Trophy Ridge Whisker Biscuit. So most people, when they buy their first bow, they'll buy a bow that's ready to hunt. It's set up, it's got a sight, rest, stabiliser, D-loop peep. They buy it from a store, it's ready to shoot, they buy some arrows and off they go shooting. Most of those types of bows ready to hunt will come with a bristle rest like this one, which is a Whisker Biscuit. How they work when you shoot is that the arrow will fly forward from there, it'll go straight, pull through the bristles that way and fly down to the target. It will cause a little bit of drag on the arrow and slow it up fractionally, but these type of arrow rests are ideal for beginners. They're safe, the arrow can't fall off the arrow rest frequently. And the other thing is that they're perfect for hunting because they're silent. There's no clicking, no noises. The arrow shooting through the rest is just a whoosh, basically, very quiet sound. They won't frighten or startle an animal. But when people want to upgrade, pass that over, there's a few choices. There's a drop away rest and a blade type rest is the other two types that you can choose from. Ultimately are designed for hunters. So this is a drop away rest. When you flick that down, when you load the arrow, same thing, clip it on the string, sit it in the forks there, you preload the rest like so. When you draw back, that arrow rest will go to its fully upright position. Right, and when the arrow flies out of it, it'll drop down out of the way. The arrow will fly straight through there and not have any interference at all. So it'll fly cleanly through there, again, which is silent, but there is a little bit of, can be little clicking noises and things when you shoot when that drops away. Hunters do use those. The reason that they do use these for hunting, and I'll just put that arrow back in there, is that when you buy a drop away rest, they'll nearly always come with that arm that goes across the top of there. And that's so that you can walk around with an arrow in your bow ready to shoot in case you stumble upon an animal and you've got only seconds to shoot it. So that, you know, you can tip your bow upside down and it's not going to fall out. It's locked into that rest position, so it's already ready to shoot. There's various types, like I said. Pop that out of there, pull that through. Different types of what they call a contained arrow rest. So some are full loops in there that the arrow can't get out at all. This one's got a bit of room to maneuver, mainly because this is probably kind of a compromise between a target setup and a hunting setup. Next one is a blade rest. So this is generally used for target archery. So this is just a springy blade. You can set the arrow rest is adjustable up and down, left and right, and like most of them are. So you set that to the optimum position of where the arrow wants to fly straight through the center of the bow. The arrow sits on there. This is the weight of the arrow will pull it down. When you draw back there, that will just have less weight on it and it'll keep it level to the right way. Clip an arrow on that. So generally these are used for target archery. They can be like very accurate. Once you lock them and set them, they never move. There's no moving parts on this. Basically, it's just a piece of spring steel that holds the arrow up. When you shoot, you have to set your arrow so the vanes are getting optimum clearance on that rest, and it'll fly out of the way. The difficulty with this type of arrow rest, though, is that they have very small prongs on there, what we call lizard tongues. When you try and draw the arrow back, if you don't have a smooth draw, or if you may be shooting a bow that's got too high a poundage for you, the arrow can bounce along as you draw it back. It can bounce along that rest and fall off. I've seen quite a few people that shoot, comp that shoot blade rest. They'll draw their bow up with it off the rest and flip it up on the rest because they can be very difficult to draw with. So you wouldn't use one of those for hunting because they make a bit of noise when they drag across the spring. They can be, when you're in a bit of a rush, you can't just rush it. You've got to have a smooth draw with that to stay it on the rest. So ideally they're just for target archery where you've got a time limit, you're not in a hurry, you can just draw nice and smooth and take your aim and shoot your shot. Alright, so if you are looking at upgrading your arrow rest, you've had a Whisker Biscuit on your bow and it's starting to wear out and you want to upgrade, you've really got to think about what type of archery you want to do. If you're doing target archery, I'd highly recommend a lizard tongue blade type rest. They can be very accurate and very, very reliable. If you're going to go and do some target archery, to get your sights and distance settings, and then you want to go and hunt with it, a drop away rest would probably be the best way to go. If you do, say, 3D archery, I'd probably recommend going for the drop away type rest, because you can have uneven ground. Very hard to shoot with a blade rest when you're on uneven ground. You've got to try and keep that arrow on the rest, and if you're on a hill on an angle and trying to shoot as well, very difficult. So a drop away rest is probably the ultimate way to go with that. But the best way to do it is to come into your archery shop like ours and talk to the professionals there that sell the gear and have used it, and talk to all the clients, and they'll recommend what's best to suit you for what you're going to do. So, and again, think about there's multiple options and price ranges on all of these arrow rests. So I always recommend just buy the very best you can afford, and it will last forever. Thank you.